So FIFA's deadline to South Africa is just remaining 24 hours, and then we get to see what happens, with South Africa. Would they be able to defend themselves? Would they be able to prove that they did not break any rule? Or will they fall short of, explaining themselves and then get fined by FIFA, or perhaps, get served, some point deductions and some minus goal deductions by FIFA. We'll see what happens, what will happen, obviously in the next coming hours, because according to the letter, it was dated 15th and they gave them up until 20th to respond. Today is already 19th, so tomorrow is the 20th, of September, and obviously we might be getting some news before tomorrow runs out. And then obviously the South African Football Federation has also now confirmed that they received a formal query from FIFA asking them to explain themselves. And even the CEO has gone on to say something that, that shows confidence that the South African team has in themselves. It shows confidence in the fact that they don't really care about this point, even if at the end of the day they are not able to explain to FIFA to prove their innocence. Then they are ready and they are willing to concede the 3 point deductions. But that's not the most important thing. The most important thing for them, according to this CEO of the SAFA, that's the South African Football Federation, is that the team is focused. They are not being distracted. They have one thing in mind. They have one goal in mind, and that's, the fact that they want to concentrate on the remaining two games, against Zimbabwe and against Rwanda, and then win these games comfortably. Because if they do this, then the issue of point deduction, whether FIFA deducts points from them or not, that will not be that would not be that will not be significant, you know, in their course to qualify to the World Cup. So that is what the CEO of the South African Football Federation has come out to say. He goes by the name Lydia Monye. He said, "We are not really worried about the possible loss of 3 points after receiving an official letter for investigation from FIFA. Our focus remains on Bafana winning the final two qualifying fixtures against Zimbabwe and Rwanda, and then going straight to the World Cup." That is what this the boss of, the South African Football Federation has said. I mean, you just listen to, the confidence that comes out of the words of this South African boss. But again, you try to deduce this very statement, you would almost picture that they are now giving up the idea that they will lose, 3 points, because obviously he said that even if FIFA deducts the 3 points, they don't care about that anymore. They want to care right now on winning the next two games. So it's almost like they are conceding defeat at this point, But at the end of the day, personally, I feel like South Africa will still qualify, to the World Cup ahead of all of the other teams, because they have, everything going for them. One, they are the most informed team in the group. They are well organized. They play good football. It's very sad to say this, especially coming from a Nigerian, but they actually play better football, because they have a better team, better cohesion among the players. So even with the point deductions, I still see South Africa, having an advantage over all of the others. They just have to be very careful in these two games that they have and try and win them, as their CEO has said. If not, they might have an issue, when push comes to shove. But again, leave your reaction concerning this one, guys. Let's move on and talk about, the games that are coming up this weekend. Of course, we expect to watch a couple of our players make appearances for their clubs. Talk about the likes of Tolu Arokodare, Uche Santos, who had their debuts last week. It was not the debut that went very well for them, obviously because they struggled. We talk about Uche Santos, struggling with Crystal Palace, Tolu Arokodare struggling with Wolverhampton Wanderers. But this weekend, obviously, they are going to want to, show their quality, this time around. The Oluwakudaris Wolverhampton Wanderers have a game tomorrow, 3 p.m. against Leeds United, and then we have the likes of Fulham uh, having a game against Brentford City around 8 p.m. Of course, Fulham will be hoping to have the likes of Kevin Bassey, Alex Iwobi, and hopefully Samuel Chukwueze, who might be getting his debut tomorrow, according to the coach of the Fulham side. uh, you know. So we'll see what happens. Alex Iwobi actually faced a late test to see if he's going to be fit to play this game, because in their last game against Leeds United, he looked to have had some knocks. But now his coach, Marco Silva, has come out to clear the doubts right now, setting the record straight that Alex Iwobi had been training with the squad, so is very likely going to make appearance for their game tomorrow against Brentford City. And this is what he said. Alex, no fresh injury news. Alex will be trained this morning. He took some knocks against Leeds last match, but nothing serious. Nothing to change anything significantly. No serious problems. Let's see his reaction. We took care of him. So that is what he said in their pre-match conference. We hope to see Alex Iwobi. Of course, it's been a very a constant appearance in that attacking area of this Fulham side. He's been very very productive. He shows his quality. Providing goals and assists for this Fulham side. We saw that throughout last season, and this season he hasn't started badly. So we hope to see him stay fit and make appearance for that tomorrow game. But let's move away, guys, and talk about uh, one legend of the Super Eagles of Nigeria in the person of Yakubu Ayegbeni. He's been in the news recently, where he's now reacted to what is happening with the Super Eagles of Nigeria, talking about why it has become very difficult for we to win games comfortably. If you notice, we don't win games comfortably. It's either we win game by 1-0, or we play a 2-1 score line. And that's been consistent for several months, maybe even several years now. I can't remember the last time we scored, three, four, five, six goals, or keep a clean sheet and have some massive goals scored in the opposition's net. It's been a really long time. And the great Yak has come out now to say that, the reason is because we are lacking creativity in the midfield. He says that we don't have a creative midfielder who can actually, create things, out of nothing, create things for the attackers, create those assists, create those true passes, create those forward plays, forward flows of game. He says this is the reason why we are not getting a lot of scoring opportunities, and our strikers are not really delivering. And it now feels like the strikers have issues, or that they are not good enough. He heaps praise on Victor Osimhen, saying that Osimhen is a very special player, because he fights for the ball. He struggles. He always has that mindset of going into the battlefield every time he plays, and that's the mentality that he uses to get get these goals out of nothing. Yak says most of the goals Osimhen gets is out of nothing. He's the one that almost always creates these chances for himself and then scores these goals. That life would have been easier for Victor Osimhen and all the other strikers, if we had a creative midfielder who can actually create these chances and help the attackers score more goals. So this is part of what Yak has said. He was even brutally honest by stating that if he was playing in this Super Eagles setup, that he would have found it very difficult to score goals, because he doesn't thrive in this kind of system or in this kind of team where you don't have, creative midfielders. So just to summarize what he said in his own words, Yak said, when we look at the team, we have too many defensive midfielders and not many attacking midfielders. If I play in this team, I will struggle to score goals, because when I look at Osimhen, when he plays, he's fighting because he knows already when he sees the goals, he scores, and he has to hustle by himself. So this is what Yakubu has said, obviously calling out to NFF and Coach Eric Shell for them to discover more of attacking players instead of discovering more defensive midfielders. But that is the update for now. Thanks for watching and leave your reaction concerning any of the stories in the video.